this is how I look at 13 years old. In 1 week, I was able to lose 13 kilograms, which is 30 pounds, I think. How I did it? That's how. Okay, this is me editing, and I want to make things very clear. This is how I looked at 13 years old, 14 years old, right at the beginning of my weight losing journey. This is me after 2 months of training, right? And this is me at my lowest body weight ever. Don't make fun of the picture. And this is me now. Okay, my life be like. This is gonna be the story of how I went from basically 130 kilograms, which is 286 pounds, all the way down to 86 kgs, which is 189 pounds. And more importantly, very big part of that weight was taken down in the span of only 2 months, which, to be more exact, from 30 June 2021, when I was on a scale 115 kilograms, which is 253 pounds, by September 9th, I was 86 kilograms, which is 189 pounds, which basically meant that in about 2 months, I was able to take down all the way to 64 pounds. And I'm gonna tell you how I did it. My life be like. Yeah, this was my physique at 13 years old, when on a scale I was 120 kg. And I remember very clearly that I was 120 kg because when I was 13, it was a lockdown. I had no scale in my house, and so I went on a sleepover at one of my closest friends, and he had a scale. And when I went to the bathroom, I said to myself, okay, let's scale myself, because I don't got a scale at home. And when I scaled myself, I was shocked. I almost wanted to cry, because seeing 120 kg, seeing 264 pounds at only 13 years old, like, I was fat shamed quite a lot, especially in 6th grade, and it really hurt. And I looked myself in a mirror, as you can see in those pictures, like, call myself skinny or whatever, but I wouldn't call myself morbidly obese, as the scale showed to me, revealed to me. And so it was quite shocking. Yeah, it was very devastating, but also motivated me quite a lot. But it only got to motivate me after quite a while, because the worry goes like this. My life be like. So I'm at my friend's place, I scale myself, I see that I'm 264 pounds. I live in an apartment, he lives on a house, he had a football pitch nearby his house, and so I was able to get out of the house and do some activity, some physical activity, because as I said, it was lockdown, and all I did was to sit down, play Fortnite, trying to become a pro, which didn't happen, unfortunately, and I'm still gonna blame it on the fact that I was a PS4 player, not a PC player, but that's not today's topic. So I was trying to eat what he ate. He was skinnier than me at that time. He also had a weight issue, but he also lost a significant amount of weight, and so I tried to eat whatever he ate, which was very painful. I slept over at him for like 5 days, and I was basically starving myself. Don't get me wrong, like, he was eating normally. He was eating around 2000 calories a day of mostly organic foods. Like, it was not too little food or anything like that, but I simply was just very used to eating quite a substantial amount of food. That's why I got to be so heavy in the first place. So time goes by, and I managed to lose some weight while I met him. I actually lost 4 kgs, which would roughly translate into, what, 10 pounds in basically 5 days of regular activity, because my body was simply so used at doing nothing that by simply going out and like having like 20 minutes of walking on the beach and simply stuffing my mouth every other second with food, actually lost a significant amount of weight. But obviously after those 5 days went by, I got back to my home, the lockdown continued, and I continued to gain back the weight, and not only gain back the weight, but actually gain a lot more weight over. This is off record. As I said, I didn't have a scale back then, but trust me when I say I'm sure I can bet all my money on the fact that I got to be 286 pounds, 130 kg, while still, if not still being 13 years old, after I turned 14, and obviously with all the homeschooling and stuff, like literally all the activity I had every single fucking day was just get out of my bed, move 5 meters to get to my PC, sit down on that chair and play on the PC or watch YouTube or whatever for 18 hours straight. Go to bed and repeat every single day. I did no physical activity whatsoever. When I say that I got to be 130 kg, trust me. I would say I got even heavier, but no one would trust me. So 130 kg, 286 pounds is actually a very safe bet. I wanna say that I actually am very blessed from a genetic point of view, because as you can see in this picture, even though I was this heavy, you wouldn't tell, right? Because I was 6 feet, like actually 6 feet, 182 centimeters. Even though 6 feet would basically be like 183, I was almost full 6 feet. And as you can see in those pictures, and as you can see right now on myself, I was very well proportioned. Like a lot of overweight kids tend to like strictly put on weight around their midsection, right? Well, it wasn't my case, because I had fat legs, I had fat midsection, I had fat arms, I had fat neck, I had a fat face, I was having fat anywhere.
Yeah, boy.
Even though that made me look a lot worse, because I was jealous on all the other friends of mine that clearly had weight issues. I was jealous on them because even though they were almost the same weight as me or stuff, like they would have skinny face and skinny arms and skinny legs, and I was so jealous because people would think that they are slimmer than me even though they weren't. Because it's a lot easier to hide the stomach fat with just a baggy shirt or a hoodie than it is to try to hide everything. And obviously you're not able to hide your face, so anyone can see the fat that you have on your face and everybody can tell that you're fat. And that's why I got fat shamed and I'm getting a lot of backlashes right now. But again, that's not the topic. Let's take to the other parts of the problem.
My life be like,
How I managed to lose weight. I got to be 14, puberty started to hit, and obviously I was interested in girls. Like most of us around that age, of course I was interested in them earlier, but on that point I realized that if I don't make a change, I will fucking die a virgin. So I started to making changes because the lockdown stopped. I was able to go out, of course, by wearing a mask, but still I was able to go out. So I managed to make a couple of offline friends, let's call them like that, like friends that I don't only play games on Discord, but also am able to go out and have some fun. So I got friends to go out with. And so I started to go out every day, managed to walk around an hour a day, probably like 8,000 steps, something like that. And also try to eat as less as possible. I didn't change my diet, but what I tried to do was to basically have an OMAD diet, because I didn't like to eat in the morning. I never had an appetite in the morning. So I was going to the school, basically had like a 6 hours fast every day, arrived home almost starving and had a very big meal. I would try to make it in such way that it would keep me full for the rest of the day. So yeah, basically tried to maintain an OMAD diet, even though I didn't know about that concept at that time, but but I tried to do it and did 8,000 to maybe 10,000 steps every day. Probably once every 3 to 4, maybe even 5 days, I was searching up a how to lose belly fat workout on YouTube, looked for the shortest one, averaging on around 8 minutes, and did one of those. Of course, if I was to do one of them right now, it would be a breeze. I would not struggle, probably wouldn't even break a sweat. But at that time, trust me when I tell you, it was a fucking pain. It was very painful. So this is 2021. This is how from 1st May to June 30th, I managed to drop down to 150 kilograms, 253 pounds. This is actually the day that I got my exams grades to be able to go to the high school, and my mindset was like this. Okay, I got 2 months before high school starts. This is gonna be a fresh start for me. This is gonna be a new era. Nobody can know me as the fat kid. And so in those 2 months, from 30th June till 9th of September 2021, I had to make a change. And oh boy, I did it. I went from 253 pounds all the way to 189 pounds. From 115 kilograms to 86 kilograms. My life be like, yeah. How did I do it, you might ask? Well, there's more parts in this equation that helped me lose this amount of weight, and also in the way that I did it. The fact that I said that I'm very genetically blessed, it's also because by the way that I'm storing fat, that I'm very proportional, I actually have no loose skin. It might also be because I tried to implement the way of David Goggins used to train, because I was lucky enough to watch an interview of him about his weight transformation right before I started going to the gym, and he said that in order for him not to have loose skin, quote unquote, let's say he would do bicep curls, he would pick up a weight that he was able to do 100 reps, and he would do those 100 reps, take a short break, then do 3 more sets of that and apply that to every exercise. And that's basically what I did. Huge volume. I don't know if there's scientific proof behind that, but that's how I train. And also, of course, genetics play a huge role, because I'm sure that if I only stored fat around my belly fat, I would have loose skin, but since I store fat everywhere around my body, I don't have. And as a proof, as you can see, this is not the best lighting, but as you can see, I don't got any kind of loose skin. Like, okay, I got fat, I still got fat because I'm not shredded or something. I don't, like, I have a huge chest. I mean, not a huge chest, but like, I don't have like man boobs or whatever, gynecomastia. I actually had gynecomastia, but that's because of how fat I was at such a young age. But yeah, actually, yeah, I had gynecomastia, and because of my genetics, I don't have that, and I don't have any backlashes on my chest. I actually think that my chest is one of the most aesthetics body parts of mine. I was at the beginning of puberty, so my test levels were rising significantly at that time, and fortunately I took advantage of that. Also, I had a lot of motivation because the girl that I had a crush on for the past 8 years since first grade basically rejected me, so I had a broken heart demotivation. Also, I was trying to get to this girl at that moment, so I also had the motivation of proving the past girl wrong and trying to prove myself to this new girl. Also, because my body was so used to not doing basically anything that required any kind of real effort. Like, okay, I started doing 8 to 10,000 steps a day, but at a very moderate pace. So my body was not used at all at any kind of intensity. This is gonna be a key part in the following next months, because on that day, 30th June, I started going to the gym. If we combine all of the things I just told you, plus the fact that I started going to the gym, which would only make my test level rise even more, I would also be able to build a lot of muscle, because I found about myself that I'm an endomorph. I'm very prone to gaining any kind of mass, either fat or muscle, but in that case it was muscle, because this is the next part. I was trying to maintain a calorie deficit. Like, the words to describe it is the bigger the better. Like, I tried to literally fast for as long as I could and tried to only eat one meal a day that consisted of the least amount of calories possible, mainly chicken, salad, boiled eggs, and fruits. That's basically all that I ate for the most part in those 2 months, which really didn't bother me because I love chicken. Also, I liked salad and I ate lots of bananas, which were my favorite thing in the world, and also lots of peaches. What? Fruits, you know, they are good, they are tasty. Also, one of the biggest parts was that I never cheated on my diet. I went out with my friends, they ordered lots of things, but never had a fry, never had a chip, never cheated on my diet. Why? Because I knew that if I cheated on my diet, I would basically cheat on myself. And I was so driven by the motivation about the girls that I really wanted to get the results as fast as possible, which actually makes another point that I really want to clarify. I'm the type of person that really gets motivated if they see any kind of results. And for me, getting compliments from all the people that literally fat shamed me in the middle school and getting compliments from people that would see me only every other week, because at that point I was losing weight so fast that if I were to meet with you today and we would only see each other back in 1 week, you wouldn't recognize myself. That's how fast I was losing weight. I remember that in 1 week I was able to lose 13 kilograms, which is 30 pounds, I think. Of course, lots of body weight, but just goes to show how impactful this whole thing that I did was. My life be like... Of course, it wasn't healthy. I actually had a lot of backlashes on my health because of that, and it wasn't sustainable. Of course, after this initial weight loss, I was able to lose even more weight after September 9th until like around 1st November or something like that. I was able to go from 86 kilograms to 78 kilograms, which would roughly be around 22 pounds. But like, those were details, right? I managed to go from healthy weight to like a slimmer weight. What's impressive about my transformation is going from morbidly obese, as I was at 13 years old, to actually a healthy weight. Right now, I'm actually heavier than I was at that point, but obviously I'm a lot healthier. This is how I basically did it. OMAD diet, motivation, never cheating on my diet, building muscle, and really taking advantage of the puberty testosterone boost. I can go deeper into the whole process, but I want this to be an inspiration for anyone. This is how I look right now. This is how I look at 13 years old. How I did it? That's how. If you want me to go deeper into all the details, and if you want me to go and tell you about my advices for you, what to do, what not to do, because as I said, I have a lot of backlashes because I actually only about after 4 years of trying to fix myself, I'm able to be really healthy. Like this thing really fucked me up for the next 4 years. So yeah, this is gonna be the video. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you want to find out more about this in the comments. Love you. It's literally 3 AM and I've just finished editing this video, and I never got to tell you that my hope on this platform is to be able to create a community. I don't care how big it is, but I hope to be able to create a community that is strong, united, and is formed of motivated and happy people. And I want to be the person that is able to inspire all the members of this community. If you want to see more of these kind of videos, or if you want to see me more, I would really appreciate if you guys could subscribe and maybe even like the video if you guys liked it or found it at least in some ways funny or entertaining. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.